Sky Lanterns, not just hot air, in patch 8.1. The Creator Gods, also known as Creative Assembly, have seen fit to give me a reason to do this video now. The range of the Sky Lantern has been raised to the Crane Gunner standard. I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk about its other real use, the one you might not have thought about. Let's fire up the burner and whip up some hot air. Recruit for 900 gold and 225 upkeep. On Ultra scale, this single entity, never touching the ground until entity destruction, has 6,048 health, which is not the highest, but you have to land the hits from a distance, or ride a dragon right up to it. Armor is 30, which is not lantern paper thin per se, but it's thin enough. No resistances by default. Leadership of 70 is actually decently high. Speed 60 and charge speed 55 for in the air. Melee attack is 8, as in 1 more than 7. Attack interval 4 seconds, no splash damage. Melee defense is likewise 8. Weapon strength 26 is base 20 and armor piercing 6. That's like a single state employee swinging a club. Charge bonus is 1 and mass is 2000. So on that note, how about the ranged weapon? Based on a Crane Gunner, ammunition is 30. Range was 155, and rather than having to defend that anymore, it's been raised to 275 meters, which is a huge deal, especially since this is a 360-degree, far-whilst moving war machine. The damage stats look nothing like what I had in the old script. Each and every shot inflicts shield breaker for minus 24% missile block chance, therefore of obscenely high value as support for your other ranged units. Actual impacts are base 22 and armor piercing 108 damage as opposed to the AP 45 in the script I'm overwriting. However, where this used to be granted an explosive side effect, that is gone. Well, more logical this way anyway. It's 1 shot per attack, reload time is 12 seconds now, where it was far faster before, total accuracy 20, which is default, calibration distance 150 meters is decent, meaning it has extra drift past that point. And no, they did not lengthen that for the lengthening of the range, but that's fair. Calibration area is 3 meters, so it's somewhat accurate. There is a medium penetration cap, and the max targets damaged, even accounting for the firing angle if against ground targets, is 5 entities past the first. Now take everything I just said and double it. There is a second, unlisted gun alongside the main one that you can target purposefully. The unlisted gun is present on the Skyjunk too. When they changed the main gun, it looks like they changed the unlisted gun too, which means is firing from a ridiculous range, 360 degrees while moving. In the middle of the footage, I realized that it's hard to see the impact on battle, and that's a consequence of the changes being a double-edged sword. The closer to a ground target, the steeper the angle. At extreme range, maybe you miss altogether. The harmony is great, but the damage simply is not going to change a lot of fights because of the lack of an explosion effect means you absolutely need the penetration for maximum damage. So, on a guess, I tried this against Chaos Furies of Khorne, setting them to defense so they'd take a few extra shots before charging. Yeah, off-brand, that's on me. Barriers would have skewed the results. Point is, yes, these bullets tear through multiple Furies on a good hit. The poke damage is there and does its job, but since it's slow poke, yes, it's a slow poke unit now. It's a lot easier to use them to annoy the enemy into action than actually doing damage, but if allowed, they will rip through air cavalry and do quality damage. You just better have a plan for what happens if they charge you. In my case, it was Great Longbow Riders. More on that later. So, this is a Yin unit, and therefore must have a Yang unit within 60 meters to trigger its own Yin harmony. In addition, it has harmony amplifier 25%, but only 1 amplifier applies at a time. Plus 25% to Yin harmony means it will have leadership plus 5, reload skill plus 15, and speed plus 5%. That's if it's the only amplifier around. Yang units nearby would get leadership, melee attack, and melee defense plus 5 each. And that is the other big use of the unit. Even though this isn't a blazing fast unit like the Great Moon Bird, this is not a DLC unit. So if you don't have Jet Lions, Onyx Croman, Great Moon Bird's unit variant, and you're not risking the more expensive sky junk instead, this is your only means of spreading yin values through the skies. We'll come back to this. Its passive, Eye of the Dragon, affects self and allies in a 50-meter range, offering an independent +4 leadership, an independent +5 reload skill, range +5%, and forest spotting +100%, so it'll be harder for wolf rats to be in ambush unseen. Harder, not impossible. Wounds debuff applies if really damaged, and this is a fire whilst moving unit, so it can pelt while approaching. Obviously, with this firing speed, it'll run out of ammo easily, but against the right opponents, it can support with impunity, and the wrong ones? Bring some friends for that. In the redline skills for Cathay Lords, 3 pips of Skyfire grants speed +15% and missile strength +12%. That's an interestingly large speed boost. Looming Lanterns gives rank 7 ones and up leadership +6, range +15%, and missile resistance +15%. That's interesting. In the tech tree, Yin Reflecting gives +4 leadership as a Yin unit. What's specific is Sky Junk Rigging for speed +15%, ammunition +15%, and missile resistance +10%. More broadly, Yin Defense will add armor +10, leadership +6, and ammunition +15% for being a Yin unit generally. Yin Hex grants -10% upkeep, +2 recruit rank, and +4 melee defense. So upkeep and recruit rank, cool. So, how do we deploy the Sky Lantern using the power of Heated Invective? This is for Miao Ying, Zhao Ming, Yuan Bo, and Bashiva. What I was prepared to say before had to do with the leadership buffing, making your ranged units a little better, being able to hover over a front line indefinitely if it's safe, and those are all true. And yet, there is a deeper truth. In spite of not being as fast as Croman and the like, this is the last resort to slip far from your box mentality formation and support flanking Yang units, like Peasant Horsemen, Jade Lancers, and Great Longma Riders. These last ones are extremely important because not only does the Lantern's mere presence help them fight harder, but the Longma Riders are the combat air patrol it needs to make sure things like Fellbats don't negate it. We also have serious changes in how the guns work. This damage profile is, in fact, extremely educational. Armor Piercing 108 is right at the point it will outright kill a Chaos Warrior without base damage being involved at all, of course potentially subject to shield block, but that's what Shield Breaker helps with generally. That is, maiming is less likely than killing the entities now. Power against cavalry is much improved. The explosive component used to be base 14 and armor piercing 10. That's nothing! AP 45 for the bullet itself? Garbage. So, these shots are quietly murderous to clustered heavy cavalry, with the reload time much higher, as in slower firing. The boosts from reload skill actually matter a lot now. Bottom line, while this is a reassuring presence anchoring a corner-camping army, and I will shamelessly use it as such, it has the flies as a crowman, minimal distance to the deeper fights potential other flying units have, even if it's less fast than some, and it will be relevant to your melee units involved deep in the enemy's backline. Obviously, you face the problem of getting shot at if the battle space hasn't been tidied up. You just have to work that one out for yourself. As a result of testing, the under-fire morale penalty is a consistent -5 morale. Aside from potential for flanks being considered more exposed, the shots do damage, and they help break the morale of enemies on the deep charges. And more to the point, the massive horizontal reach of the unit lets you use this in flanking maneuvers like few other things. I have noted the lack of ranged cavalry skirmishers in the faction. Now that you can reach out and snipe someone from a flying platform, your options have expanded immensely. And hey, this is what you can do with one Sky Lantern. It's not like they're unit capped. What about 3 of them? Now that they're not outranged by the average High Elf Archer, it's not the same. If you're Cathay, war has changed. Take care, and have fun hovering over your foes, and plinking them.